for being there. Federal government has commenced dredging of Dambata Dam in Kano State at a cost of more than 500 million naira. The project, which includes the rehabilitation of irrigation sites, is to scale up all year-round farming activities. Abdullahi Mustafa reports that thousands in Kano will benefit from the project.
For more than 10 years, farmers around Thomas Dam have been experiencing difficulty in cultivating their lands during dry season as a result of siltation and weed infestation along the main irrigation canal. Many, therefore, have to abandon their farms due to disruption of water flow. In response to the farmers' plight, the federal government embarked on total rehabilitation of the dam and the irrigation infrastructure. Already, devegetation of trees and shrubs along the embankment as well as desilting of the main canal have commenced.
Apart from that, we desilted all the distributary and the field channels within the irrigation project so that we can see problems associated to the concrete slabs and the control gates.
The project also involves the expansion by 250 hectares the irrigation area through the drilling of tube wells.
Completed, the 250 tube wells will be used to irrigate additional 250 hectares of land, thereby creating more jobs and increased production of food and cash crops.
Not only farmers are happy, but community leaders, including the district head of Makoda, Labaran Abdullahi.
I want you to extend our happiness and appreciation.
He also thanked President Muhammadu Buhari for his commitment towards boosting the nation's agricultural fortunes and Senator representing Kano North, Barrow Jibril, for facilitating the intervention. The federal government's intervention, the farmers believe, will increase employment opportunities and reduce or bring an end to rural-urban migration among youth. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Moving on to security matters, Armed Forces Command and Staff College Jaji remains resolute in repositioning local and international officers towards stemming the menace of terrorism and insurgency. This played out during the Junior Officers Course Camp exercise tagged Exercise Ubiak Isim. Abdullahi Muhammad was one of the journalists embedded in the exercise.
Bina and several other communities neighboring the Armed Forces Command and Staff College Jaji look forward to the periodic combat exercises carried out within their locality with excitement. This is not only for the joint emergency rescue simulation exercise that is usually demonstrated within the villages, but a hand of fellowship that leaves the inhabitants happier. But there is no better place to measure the kind of sacrifices the Nigerian military is making than the theater of war. Here we have a prototype, and we understand that lives revolves in the trenches here. The trenches here have not only provided its traditional service, but a hideout to breed in new strategies with a test of the air, sea and ground assault against the enemy.
The Naval Task Group will dominate the maritime environment.
The assessment of their combat plans comes from a team led by the Commandant of the Armed Forces Command and Staff College Jaji, Air Vice Marshal Abubakar Liman, and that of the International Peacekeeping Center. The conversation was between those who fought, conquered, and those who are taking lessons.
What stops you from attacking this enemy from the north?
This is where the baton for the defense of the territorial integrity of Nigeria is handed over, and the resilience of the officers is reassuring. In Kaduna, Abdullahi Mohammed, NTA News.
And that concludes our package from Kaduna. Lydia, over to you.
Many thanks, Salamatu. The Nigerian Prize for Leadership is identifying new culture for entrenching quality leadership in the country, with focus on ethics as a driving force. Haman Jabani reports that the effort is to also sustain succession circle.
46 first ambassadors of the Nigerian Prize for Leadership after undergoing a 4-week intensive leadership training that centered on 5 cardinal principles of social, physical, emotional, intellectual, and psychological capacities, which the Nigerian Prize for Leadership believes will make them to live a life of community for nation and humanity. While the ambassadors see this as an opportunity to change the narrative, it is also to be that which will answer questions as to what really represent qualitative and valuable leaderships in Nigeria.
We're going to the grassroots. We're passing the mindset we've acquired in this place. We're making sure that every Nigerian youth in our sphere gets this message we've gotten in this place.
The change begins with me. And as I do that, I begin to practice this in every day of my life, in everything I do. Wherever I find myself, I must begin to preach the message of doing the right thing.
The president of African Development Bank, Dr. Akuyemi Adesina, in his lecture with the theme Leadership Excellence and the Secret of Weaving Diversity into National Cohesion, believes that drastic educational development must be embraced to achieve the leadership and change needed.
As a nation, Nigeria should do all possible to invest itself and reinvent itself by focusing on its youth. Today we have 206 million, 70% of them under the age of 30 years. What Nigeria does with its youth will determine and shape its future.
Nigerian Prize for Leadership is optimistic that the move is geared towards having a better future leaders.
Our mission is to institute and project a truly Nigerian leadership prize that will inspire Nigerians to lead a life larger than self.
The Prize for Leadership would attract cash, medal, plaque, and monetary prize next year. Hamad Jabani, NTA News.
Governor Obaseki holds security meeting with Kano Obey in our Benin Network Center has details of this and more from that zone. Hello, Obey.
Hello, Lydia. Happy Sunday, and thank you very much for joining us in Benin. The Edo State Governor, Godwin Obaseki, has restated his commitment to strengthening the fight against insecurity in the state during the Yuletide and beyond. The governor restated his commitment during his meeting with members of the Christian Association of Nigeria in Government House. Elizabeth Amoko reports.
Following the lingering security challenge that has pervaded the state in recent times, Governor Obaseki met with the Christian heads to solicit their support in tackling the wave of crime presently facing the states. Governor Obaseki says the Command and Control Center will commence operations next week.
We are activating street cameras and we're deploying a lot more. It will take a while to build up, but be rest assured, as long as God has put me in this position, He will give me the means to secure it.
The Christian leaders appealed to the governor to consider relaxing the subsistence curfew in the state on the 31st of December to allow Christian faithful participate in crossover services to usher in the new year in the various churches in the states. The governor, joined by the leaders of the Christian body, observed a minute silence in honor of the General Overseer of the Spirit and Life Bible Church, Apostle Deborah Gadon Asagede, who passed on this Monday. In Benin, Elizabeth Amako, NTA News.
Residents in Benin Metropolis are hopeful of a memorable celebration of this year's Christmas, despite the recent economic downturn in the country. Yours truly was in town earlier to ascertain residents' preparation of the Yuletide ahead of the celebration. Although it is just less than 12 days to Christmas, a drive around the state capital reveals that the atmosphere, especially landmarks in the metropolis, are unreflective of the season. This negates the usual euphoria associated with the Yuletide.
With the situation of things right now in the country, I'm not even sure persons are preparing, but I know by the grace of God, it will come and it will pass.
If you have the spirit of celebration, nothing will hinder it. Whatever circumstance we have gone through in life, the day is always the day, the night is always the night.
There is nothing to bother about. Since one is alive, I think everything will still go on fine. There is hope in God.
This is Uselu Market, one of the popular markets in the city. It is bubbling with buying and selling in full voice. But the people say the persistent hike in the prices of food items, coupled with the unfriendly economy, will put the Yuletide celebration in a low key.
We thought that everything before Christmas, everything will come down for price so that the poor men will be able to buy things and enjoy themselves.
We are just celebrating it due to what we have, that's all. It's not a do or die affair.
Nevertheless, they are optimistic of a worthwhile Christmas festivity, an annual celebration commemorating Christ's birth. And away from the preparation for the Yuletide, the Edo State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal has struck out the petition of the Action Alliance, AA, challenging the eligibility of Governor Godwin Obaseki to contest the September 19 election. Goodluck Enaini reports that the tribunal also entertained the petition filed by the Allied People's Movement.
Action Alliance is challenging the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC's) decision to exclude its candidates from taking part in the last governorship election in Edo State. The petition of the Action Alliance AA suffered setbacks this Friday at the tribunal following an objection raised by the Council of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) that Action Alliance failed to file its pre-hearing notice and serve same on time, and urged the tribunal to strike out the petition. All three members of the panel graciously granted these and dismissed the petition of AA.
We have a ground of appeal. We believe that even if the court was supposed to have taken the objection, the ruling should have been reserved until after the final determination of the petition.
Petition of the Allied People's Movement, APM, also came up for hearing this Friday. APM is challenging the eligibility of the candidates of the PDP and incumbent governor of the state, Godwin Obaseki, to contest the September 19 governorship election. Also this Friday, the tribunal entertained the petition of the governorship candidate of the new Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, Tracy Agol-Ebun, asking the court to nullify the election victory of Governor Godwin Obaseki on the ground that he was not qualified academically.
We hope to be able to defend the petitions and allow the mandate of the governor and his deputy, as given to them by the good people of Edo State, of course, to stand.
The tribunal adjourned sitting to Monday, 14th of December 2020 in Benin. Goodluck Enaini, NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. The news continues with Lydia in Abuja.
Many thanks, Obehi. Nigeria's Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has confirmed 617 new cases of COVID-19 in 14 states and the FCT. The latest figures show that Lagos tops the list with 225 new cases, followed by FCT with 181, then Kaduna with 125, while Adamawa State has 25. Others are Nasarawa State with 20, Kano 12, Rivers 8, Edo and Ekiti states have 4 each. Bayelsa, Ogun and Plateau states have 3 cases each. Akwa Ibom has 2, while Delta and Sokoto states have 1 each. With this development, Nigeria has 72,757 confirmed cases of COVID-19, with 65,850 discharged, while 1,194 died of the virus. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of an interim administrator to oversee the affairs of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. He is Mr. Effiong Okonakwa, the acting executive director of finance and administration of the commission, who is to assume headship till completion of the forensic audit. Mr. Akwa is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants and a solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. The development became necessary as a result of plethora of litigation and a restraining order issued recently against the Interim Management Committee of the NDDC by a federal high court in Abuja. As the second wave of COVID-19 looms, Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje has ordered the reactivation of testing and sample collection centers across Kano State. This was after receiving an update from the state's technical response team. Abdullahi Mustafa has details.
Following the deployment of various response strategies, Kano State was able to flatten the pandemic curve with less than 10 active cases as of November 2020. With the recent spike in the number of cases across Nigeria, Kano's positivity rate is also rising. More than 80 new cases and 2 deaths were recorded in December. This is against 71 infections recorded between September and November.
Enforcement can go to certain extent, but people need to comply with instruction.
Against this background, Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje ordered the reactivation of testing and sample collection centers across the state and the recall of volunteer workers to the COVID-19 response team.
So that we take this fight back to community level. If we do that, I think we are reversing the equation.
Observance of COVID-19 protocols, he stressed, must be ensured in all public places to prevent further transmission of the viral disease. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Jos Network Center is our last spot of call on Nationwide. Frama is standing by to fill us in. Hello, Frama.
Hey, Lydia, and welcome to Jos. The business community has a major role of creating jobs and reducing unemployment. Creating a conducive atmosphere is therefore critical to the economic development of the state. Members of the business company in Plateau State made this assertion during the 4th interactive business meeting with Governor Simon Lalong. Priscilla Grumna reports that the event held at the new government house, Rayfield.
The forum offers opportunity for the business community to interact on their prospects and challenges and also reflect on ways to enhance the business environment in the state. Key players in the business sector said improving the capacity of small and medium-scale businesses will impact positively on the revenue base of the state.
Encourage more women in Plateau to find themselves in businesses.
That's what I've been on the Plateau for the past almost 60 years. We have been operating courtesy of the enabling environment.
For the Plateau State government, it is committed to providing enabling environment for ease of doing business as government expenditure and resources are prioritized in 3 drivers of agriculture, mining and tourism, which is in line with the state's strategic plan document.
We take good advantage of IT. For every concerning of training, they are always giving Plateau a huge percentage. To also engage youth. With engage plus meta, we say for everything they do, if they are giving us 20%, add another 20%.
Presentations by various MDAs and private business organizations, as well as interactive question and answer sessions on various business proposals, structures, and policies aimed at enhancing the business environment in the state featured. From the new government house in Rayfield, Priscilla Grumnan, NTA News.
Interagency collaboration and coordination is central in creating and leveraging on superior knowledge in the battle space to enable decision-making, reducing operational risk, as well as increasing operational pace, coherence, and effectiveness. The Commandant of the Police Staff College, Jos, Commissioner of Police, Don Awuna, said this during the graduation ceremony of Advanced Detective Course 71-2020, where 155 participants from different security agencies graduated. Salo Abdurrahman Mohammed has details.
The Advanced Detective Course 71-2020, which was inaugurated on the 11th of November 2020, is initiated to equip the participants on modern and international best standard of investigation, especially on cybercrime, heinous crimes, and interagency collaboration. The college commandant, CP Don Anua, charged the participants to effectively use all they have been taught in the 6 weeks training in crime prevention.
Modern training policing requires a high level of training and interagency collaboration, which is a hallmark of law enforcement. During the 6-week training, participants were exposed to contemporary methods of combating violent crimes on other areas of infraction.
Course officer SP Tamta noted that the structure of the course will enhance intellectual capacity in crime investigation.
The curriculum for advanced technical course 2021-2020 was made to contain topics that will aid participants on modern and international standards of investigations.
Certificate of participation were handed out to the participants in Jos. Salo Abdurrahman Mohammed, NTA News.
The newly commissioned 150 Batch B cadets of the Nigerian Legion Corps of Commissioners have been charged to positively contribute in combating crime and criminality in the state and nation. Zonal Commandant North Central Dr. Joel Daniel Gimba gave the charge at the personal parade held in Jos. Ashazi Gupep reports.
Having undergone training as an offshoot of the Nigerian Legion, these 150, out of which 50 are females and 100 males, are now set to complement the efforts of Legion and assist ex-servicemen, especially those that are either incapacitated and challenged by either age or deformities. They are also expected to be deployed and exposed to provide security services to all federal and state government installations and infrastructure, as well as private enterprises and individual homes, all in synergy with the existing law of the enforcement agencies.
I believe that most of you have gone through the regulation of the Corps and you know what it stands.
By the certificate we are going to give them, they are more credible to be employed anywhere.
The Nigerian Legion Corps of Commissioners, founded by the Nigerian Legion as a federal government-sponsored project, is designed to afford organizations and other credible civilians to tap into the wealth of experience of those discharged from the armed forces or other services and whose conducts were exemplary and excellent in Jos. Ashazi Gopep, NTA News.
And that's it from Jos. Nationwide continues in Abuja with Lydia after this break.
Youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
Life can be very eventful. We curiously expect things to happen, even when we don't know what. Our human nature makes us like and repost lots of information. Some are unverified, inciting anger and hate. Sometimes innocently, other times the urge to break it first. This, in most cases, has caused destruction in many nations.
NTA News 24.
A 24-hour news station brings to you news and happenings 7 days a week.
News at 10 a.m., news update at 11 and 1 p.m.
News desk at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and late evening news at 11 p.m.
Follow us on any of our platforms and keep abreast of events and current affairs within and outside our shores.
We are on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46,
Star Times channel 101 and Free TV channel 703.
Join us.
Thanks for staying with the NTA. As COVID-19 continues to ravage the world, the widows and less privileged women in the society are gaining more attention from volunteers and good-spirited individuals, as well as organizations. The latest of this volunteering gesture is coming from a non-governmental organization, Helpline Foundation for the Needy, with the empowerment of more than 500 indigent women on skills acquisition and donations of consumables. Olusheye Adiagbo tells us more.
One of the negative effects of the coronavirus pandemic is the loss of jobs. Most hit by the impacts are the vulnerable, who are mostly women, especially widows. Fatima Musa is a mother of 6 and a widow of 7 years. Inina Ogogo was a food seller pre-COVID-19. Inina tells me that she lost her capital to the lockdown and life has since become miserable. Our story is almost same to those of other women at this event, but with the different skills and empowerment schemes, there is a hope, as organizers say. This is the essence of the programs. Victoria Damboy, a widow, had the same story of lack and want 2 years ago, but today her story has changed. Now mother of an undergraduate, her joy is palpable.
These are the kind of testimony that I want to be seen. When she came here 2 years ago, nobody wants to even go near to her because of how she was living.
Dr. Jume Amoju, founder Helpline Foundation for the Needy, is using Victoria's testimony and many of her kind to restate the foundation's focus of giving women a voice and making them self-sufficient, irrespective of their status.
If you empower a woman, you've empowered the nation. So if these women are empowered and they're able to teach their daughters also what to do to be independent, it means we're going to have a society that is free of so many of the vices we are having today.
Partners at the event applaud the initiative and encourage beneficiaries to make good use of the empowerment scheme, with a commitment to advance the causes of the girl child and meeting their full potentials. The Helpline Foundation says the gesture close to the Yuletide is to inspire hope as the new year beckons. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
In a bid to cushion the hardship experienced by electricity consumers in Abuja, occasioned by the estimated electricity billing system over the years, the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, AEDC, on the 3rd of November 2020, began the disbursement of 900,000 prepaid meters in Abuja and environs. Wofai Ibo in this report examines the impact of this gesture on electricity consumers in Abuja.
The Abuja Electricity Company has distributed prepaid meters to various communities in a bid to ensure that customers pay for power consumed only.
We are geared to install 101,000 meters. It's our duty to ensure that as quickly as possible we can meter our customers in our catchment area.
Here in Gaduwa Estate, Apo District, where the flag off for distribution of free prepaid meters took place, the effort is highly commended.
I commended them for an innovation of this nature, which I believe will go far distance in providing electricity for the ordinary person.
It's a very good initiative. The metering was free.
This, however, may not be without its own challenges.
The prepaid being the unit is now half of what we used to have before.
My own problem with the meter is that I used to use 10,000 a month. Now I'm using about 35,000.
While doing the changing, I don't think they did the real analysis before they started, because there should have been a mechanism where your units that were in the meter will be transferred almost immediately. But that didn't happen.
Before last month that they increased their tariff, we always spend 34,000 naira for light for 1 month or a week. This morning, the light we bought last week for that the same 34,000 naira is already finished for 1 week.
Residents of FCT are of the view that if meters are provided to them, it will bring to an end the challenge of estimated billing and entrench transparency in the revenue generated through electricity power supply. Wofa Ibo, NTA News.
Sports is next. Anthony Joshua outclasses Kubrat Pulev in a heavyweight bout in London, as Amanzi Marcos reports.
Nigerian-born British boxer Anthony Joshua on Sunday retained his IBF, WBA and WBO heavyweight titles after a 9th-round knockout of challenger Kubrat Pulev of Bulgaria at Wembley Arena in London. Boxing fans around the world are already looking forward to a historic fight between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, the WBC champion. With sports update, Manzi Marcus, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari celebrates the decisive victory of Nigerian-born boxer Anthony Joshua over Kubrat Pulev Saturday night. The president says by retaining his IBF, WBA and WBO titles, Joshua has given boxing lovers around the world, and particularly in Nigeria, something to cheer. He recalls his meeting with the heavyweight champion in London earlier in the year, describing Anthony Joshua as a humble, well-brought-up young man who will still go places. President Buhari wishes Joshua all the best in his dream fight against Tyson Fury, saying he has the prayers and goodwill of Nigerians going with him. Now a bit of politics. The All Progressives Congress says it has received the news of the death of Sam Nda Isaiah with shock. In a statement on behalf of the May Malabuni-led caretaker committee, youth leader of the committee, Ismail Ahmed, described Nda Isaiah as a faithful party man dedicated to the ideals APC stood for by seeking to be the party's presidential flag bearer in the 2014 presidential primary. The statement added that as a media practitioner and publisher, late Nda Isaiah set industry standards and will remain a reference point for media practitioners in Nigeria. The chairman and members of the caretaker committee of the APC, by the statement, deeply mourn this great loss and extend their heartfelt condolences to his family, friends, and the media industry. Zamfara State Police Command has reacted to the purported attack on a Sokoto State mass transit bus and kidnapping of the passengers on board at Kwashabawa village in Zurmi local government area of the state. A statement issued by the Command Public Relations Officer, Superintendent of Police Shehu Muhammad, described a video that went viral on the purported attack as a fiction of imagination by mischief makers who derive pleasure in spreading rumors to instill fear into the minds of the citizenry. According to the statement, the true position of things was that the said mass transit bus conveying passengers from Sokoto to Katsina developed a mechanical fault along Zurmi-Jibia Road, and the passengers became apprehensive. Hence, they decided to take to flight, leaving the bus and their luggage. The statement further says, on receiving the information, the police in Zurmi town rushed to the scene and conveyed all the passengers' luggage to the police station for safekeeping. The passengers later emerged, claimed their luggage, and left. And that concludes Nationwide. Thank you for watching. I am Lydia Odije Ochi. Have a wonderful evening.